All right, I finally did it. I finally got around to reading Start With Why by Simon Sinek. It has been incredible, you all. I have this discovery of audiobooks. I don't know where I've been. Shout out to my wife. She's been telling me to do it. But I have this new found discovery of audiobooks because I like reading books in person. You can see I have a nice little library here behind me. But I finally have given in to listening to audiobooks, and it's been incredible. And so this gave me an opportunity to listen to Start With Why by Simon Sinek, how great leaders inspire everyone to take action. This book is a bestseller. I think it's sold 1 million books. I'm probably reviewed 7,000 about this book, but I wanted to talk to you about my 3 takeaways from this book. Number 1, if you have seen anything about Simon Sinek, it's the golden circle, right? Starting inside out. You know, and what I love, he talks about this book, of course, is why, right? Starting with the why. But in his golden circle, he has the why, he has the how, and then he has the what. And he talks about how leaders start with a why, how they start with a why, how they have this tug and this push and find success with the why. So many can find success with a how or a what. And a what could be, this is what this thing does, or this is how we're going to get it done. But it does not matter. In this book, unequivocally, success happens from those who have a why. If that's business, if that's personal, whatever it may be, it's with the why. One thing I love, he talked about, an example he talked about in his book, was he talked about when the MP3 first came out. Apple wasn't the first person to make MP3, but the people who made the first MP3, they were talking about, it's got this many gigabytes of space. It's got this storage. It does this. It takes the songs from this to that. They kept talking about the how or the what. This is what it does. This is how it does it, right? And then Apple got down to the why. They're like, hey, you want a lot of songs. We could put 1,000 songs in your pocket. And that matters to you. Why? Because you want songs in your pocket. And it's interesting like that. It's just literally the why. It was like, hey, your why, you want to listen to music? Got you. We got 1,000 songs we can put in your pocket. And they didn't talk about storage. They didn't talk about anything. And I vividly remember when I got my first iPod Nano. iPod Nano was a Christmas. My parents bought it for me, and I remember being like, I didn't ask for it. And if anybody knows, previous to this, you had to listen to CDs. You had to, you may have had a cassette player. I had a cassette player, I had CDs, and you would have to switch all these CDs out. Even in my car, I had a 1 CD player, but some people had a 6 CD player. So you had to do all this work, and then, well, maybe you wanted to listen to this song on an album and another song. And I remember when I had an iPod and I started reloading it up, I was like, holy smokes, like, I get to put all these songs right here. Like, wow, right? Like, wow. And it's just interesting how that blew up, and it just really, I'll never forget that. I still remember vividly that Christmas was the last gift I opened at night, and how I thought that was like the coolest thing that I got that I'd never asked of. That was incredible. The other thing, and a lot of it has to do with Apple's why, right? Their why is to change the game. And this was another way to change the game. And their why was, hey, we want to change the way music's done, right? They wanted to change the way music is done, and they actually did that. So their why permeates everything they did, and it permeated the device like the MP3. Another thing he talked about is how leadership, number 2 takeaway, leadership comes after trust. People have to trust you. I've been around leaders. I worked in college football. There goes my cue card. I worked in college football for 6 years. I was a high school coach for 6 years, and I wrote about that in my book, How You Can Develop Athletes, right here. The Player Development Guide, How You Can Impact the Lives of Athletes. That's my book. You can get it on Amazon. The link is in the show notes. But the best leaders I know, you trusted them first, right? You trusted them first. He talked about Continental Airlines and how they went to a new CEO in the old building. You had to have a passcode to go to executive staff, and people weren't accessible, and how this leader became more accessible. And one thing I love that he did was they had a big problem with flights getting off on time. And what he did was, and what they did at Continental was, they gave every single person in the building $65, a separate check whenever flights got off on time. Everybody got a $65 check. And this CEO, I didn't get his name, but the CEO built trust. He built trust, and then they changed Continental Airlines to one of the better airlines in the country and even in the world. And their takeoff time became huge, was so much better because leadership came after trust. The leaders weren't sequestered or quarantined to this level. They were out there. They were accessible. They were out there with people. People could trust them because they saw their leaders around them, right? They saw leaders. They started removing people who didn't want to, like, literally, if you weren't going to go down and trust people or be with your people, they start removing people. And it was just incredible to see that transformation and how leadership can be built by trust. I worked in college football, high school football. Like I said, so many people want players to do what players, hey, I'm your coach, you should do this. And there is something to that, but you got to build trust. I had great relationships with players, some very, very difficult players, because they trusted me. Leadership comes after trust. Now, let me find my cue card for number 3. I've done a lot of reviews, y'all, so as much as I want to remember my heart, sometimes it gets tough. All right, the third takeaway I got from it was hire motivated people and then inspire them. You want to hire motivated people who are motivated to do something, right? And maybe it's not even in the field that you have. So maybe that person's not even motivated to do what you do, but they are motivated to wake up every day and be the best person they can be and help other people. They are motivated to take whatever task is given to them and do the best at it. So you hire those people that are motivated, and then you inspire them. You inspire them to do what you want them to do. Hey, you're already motivated. Hey, let's inspire you to get this task done. Hey, you're already motivated. Let's inspire you to lead this person, right? And I had never heard that. I always heard like, hey, you get people and then you inspire them and motivate them. But I had never heard the term hire motivated people and then inspire them. That was a takeaway that I remember sitting there listening to it in my car, like, man, I never thought about that. So those are my 3 takeaways. I finally read the book. Start with why. Number 1, the golden circle, inside out. It's literally starting with why. Starts from the inside of the circle. You have the why on the inside, the how around it, and the what on the outside. Number 2, leadership comes after trust. Leadership comes after trust. And then number 3, hire motivated people and then inspire them. Thank y'all so much for taking time to come here for the Read by Ed reviews. Hey, I'm building that consistency. I'm trying to do this once a week, or I will get this once a week. And thank you so much for being here. You can subscribe, and YouTube says this is the best book review that I've done before for you to check out. Have a good one.